So, it's finally happened. The DCEU has come to a close. After nearly 10 years, or 8 years, because there was that 2-year gap where there's no movies, but the DCEU is over, ending with Aquaman 2, which Aquaman 2 wasn't even really like a final film. It was just because the movie just felt like another end to just felt like another movie. It's like when a TV show has like a big series finale and then they have like another episode after that. That's what it's kind of like. But anyway, it's over. And this is like a video I've been wanting to do for a while now, and that was like a ranking of all the DCU films. I actually was going to do this video 2 years ago, back in 2021, when the Suicide Squad came out, because it was like, well, technically it was their 10th theatrical release, because the truth is, the Snyder Cut wasn't on Blu-ray yet, and I don't have HBO Max. I still don't have it, but and it didn't come out until like September of 2021. So I was gonna just do this video where I just rank all the theatrical release DCEU films, which was 10 at that point. But anyway, I am going to rank all of the DCU films, including the Snyder Cut, and let's get right into it. So coming in at number 16, my least favorite DCU film of all time is Black Adam. This is probably the most unusual one to have on the bottom, because you're probably thinking, why doesn't he have those other two DCU films that are really bad? Well, it's just that I think this movie is just the most boring one, the most mediocre, most uninteresting one, and one of the worst Rock movies ever made. And I know you're gonna say, well, there's something a lot worse, like, okay, yeah, maybe there was like something he did that was really bad in the 2000s, but I really don't like this movie at all. It's just the most like uninteresting thing to sit through. The Rock is terrible in it, and he doesn't even look like Black Adam anymore because he's bald. Like, come on, dude. Like, why couldn't you could you at least like put like a little bit of like hair on you? And like the only good things I really liked were just the Justice Society stuff. That's all I liked. You know, like I liked the Adam character played by that actor. I was like Noah Centineo or something. That actor that the girls like. Do they still like it? I don't know. And seeing Pierce Brosnan in a big budget movie, that was nice to see. He's okay in the film. I still think it's still kind of cool that they brought him on to like a big budget movie, because I feel like I can't even think of another like the last like big movie that I think he was in was like Mamma Mia 2. And I did kind of like the actor playing the Hawk character. Was it Hawkeye? No, not Hawkeye, but like Hawkman. I don't really know anything about like the Hawk DC characters well. So don't get mad at me, alright? I'm not a big comic book reader. And they haven't really been in any films besides Black Adam. But yeah, I thought the human stuff was so boring. And like the backstory is just uninteresting, because they're trying to like set this whole like twist that like The Rock was the father of like a champion. And it's very obvious when you go back to the flashbacks and you see The Rock, like you actually see The Rock before he is the champion. So that stuff doesn't make sense. Overall, I wish The Rock was just in Shazam 2. It didn't have such a big freaking ego and like was like, oh, I want to fight Superman. It's like, no, you're meant to fight Shazam because you're Shazam's arch nemesis, not Superman's. And this is like the movie where it was like after this, everyone just lost their interest, because I forget if it was before or after, like it came out that James Gunn was gonna take over everything at DC, and a lot of stuff was getting canceled. And also, this was actually right after the summer where Batgirl got canceled, so this was like when like the DCU was like about to like when like it was all gonna end from there. So coming in at number 15 is Suicide Squad. I like this a little bit better than Black Adam. Well, it's still bad, but I prefer it over Black Adam because it's not boring to sit through. It's like there's never really like a really boring moment because the movie's just like, since it was edited by Trailer House, it's very quick with its editing and its like plotting, which kind of hurts the movie a little bit. But I gotta come out and say the problem with this movie is the editing, and this was edited by a Trailer House because the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer that Warner Brothers posted was so good, and Deadpool came out. Everyone liked Deadpool more, and no one liked BVS. So this was like when the DCU problems like really started, where they like BVS didn't do so well, even though it did, but you know it didn't make the money that it should have made, and this is when they like had to just be more appealing to like be more like Marvel in a way. And this movie is just, besides like it has some good parts, like I do kind of like Flag. Like the actors are fine, but they're just given a terrible script, which I think was only written in 6 weeks. And yeah, it's not a good plot. The characters aren't really like, not a lot of these characters are like interesting though. They're rushed. Like there's a lot of throwaway dialogue. The villains are just very uninteresting too. It's just such a very blah movie overall that just has a lot of terrible editing and characters and just writing. And it's a good thing we got an actual good Suicide Squad movie. Alright, so coming in number 14 is the worst one out of all of them that people think, and that is Justice League, or Justice League because it was done by Joss Whedon. I think I prefer this over Suicide Squad and Black Adam. It's just because it's really not that horrendous. The visual effects, it's like the worst. Like this is the worst visual effects for any of the DCU films. Like wow, I know like people say The Flash is bad, but this looks terrible. Like it is like and I think this movie costs $300 million or something. Or 200. The effects in this are really bad. Some of the jokes are really cringe too, and some people might find it hard to believe. Like this was by Joss Whedon, who made the Avengers, and the Avengers has a lot of funny moments. But I think but look, the only reason why this movie is really bad is just because Joss Whedon only had a few wasn't really working on this movie that much. So they just DC was just write a bunch of jokes, try to edit this movie down, make it fun and campy. And so I don't even know if Whedon even put the hard work into it. I don't even know if this was sabotaged by Marvel. I don't really know why this came out terrible. But overall Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder, their directions are very different. Because Zack Snyder is a more visionary director, and Joss Whedon is just he's just so he's more of a writer though. He's not as a director, he's not a huge big visionary. The Avengers is the most blandest looking film I've ever seen in my life. So and this movie doesn't have that bland stock TV look, but it is just a very it's a very jarring oversaturated colorful look that it's trying to have, because no one liked the dark and grim of BVS and Man of Steel, so they had to make this feel like a Marvel movie, and not even Marvel at times. They wanted this to at least try to make this feel like it's for a family, and it really has that feel. And this movie would have been perfect for me if I saw it in theaters, which I didn't actually see this in theaters. I don't know why. I think because of the reviews, or my parents weren't willing to take me anyway. And this is a movie that you just throw on for kids and they'll love it because it's got all the superheroes in it. And yeah, like, I got really not much to say about Justice League because everyone has said why it's bad. But I deep down, it's not like a movie that I got offended by. Like there's a lot of stuff, like a lot of just shady, scandalous stuff happening behind the sets. You know, with the studio firing the director, using the death of his daughter as a cover-up, why he left the project. I get it, it's terrible stuff, but like overall, the movie we get is just such a mediocre, dull, cringingly made mess of a film. And I don't think it's as bad as like Fan4stick. That's probably like the worst of like the studio metal like superhero films. Fan4stick is just the worst just because there's like a lack of like action and just like characters at all in that film. So coming in at number 13 is when we're going to now like I don't really dislike any of these DC films. And if anything, right now we're just at the okay, mediocre ones. And number 13 is Blue Beetle, which is funny enough. I think this is like the only like DCU film to come out this year that has like a high Rotten Tomato score because the people that saw it or the critics they liked it, and I think the movie is just fine. I don't know if it's maybe because like I don't really know anything about Blue Beetle. All I know is just that it's a suit, and like my friend, like as I was going into, my friend was saying how it was like from like it was from Dark Side Technology, and that's all I knew. And that I think going into this, like I knew like that they were kind of doing like what Ant-Man did, like how like the main Ant-Man is not the first Ant-Man, it's like the second, you know, Scott Lang. It's not Hank Pym, and so that's all I knew. And I gotta be honest, I did not even rewatch this movie because I rewatched all of these movies, but I didn't rewatch Blue Beetle because I just didn't even feel like I needed to, because I kind of knew like it was fun. I liked the character moments with the family, like that stuff is very good. And I feel like there's a lot of like this movie is like really written for like a Hispanic audience, because there was like I feel like there's like a lot of jokes in it that only like Hispanic people would get. And I'll also say it's good to like see like Susan Sarandon and like George Lopez in a big film like this. And I said this before with Black Adam, but you know, I like when sometimes superhero movies at least like put these like old actors in there, and they give like decent enough performances. Like Susan Sarandon, like I don't think she's been in any films recently over like the last decade, and after recent events, she's probably never going to be in another movie for a while. And George Lopez, I think, gave a very, very funny performance, and I thought the actor playing Blue Beetle was alright, but I don't know anything about the character, so I can't say if he's like doing it right or wrong. I don't read comic books, so this is like, so Blue Beetle is like the most one that I have like the least like information about. But it was still like it had its fun moments, and I think the visuals were alright. I'm trying to find other stuff to say about this movie, but it had good actors, the characters were fun, some of the writing was very fun. That was it. So coming in at number 12 is Wonder Woman. I know this one is a little low, or like too mid on the list. And this is like the movie where it didn't exactly, I don't think it really kind of saved the DCU, but it made people like say to themselves, hey, maybe these DC movies can be just as good as Marvel movies. And I guess this is like better than the two other like Phase 1 DC films that we talked about. But I do think there are some good things. I will give it like Gal Gadot and Chris Pine's their chemistry on screen together is very good. It's charming, it's cute. And I do like some of the other actors. I like seeing like Connie Nelson, Robin Wright. I think they're fun with trying to do their best with their accents they got. And that's kind of about it. I do kind of like what the movie has like some good stuff that it's trying to go for. Like they're trying to do something with like its World War One setting, unlike with Captain America and like World War Two. With World War Two, it's a more like because it's a more of like an easy war to understand. You know, it was just like Germany bad, American allies were good. But this was a scenario. This is a war that was just different, though. You know, there wasn't really like a real like right or wrong. It wasn't like a true black and white like war. And it's a good idea of like Wonder Woman like learning that you know, like humans are more complex, like man is more complex than she really thinks. There isn't like one bad guy. But it's just kind of ruined by the ending. Because I really like the movie would have just been fine if it really just like if after that like conversation that Steve Trevor has with Wonder Woman on like, you know, in the Watchtower, that like, you know, Ludendorff, you know, that maybe like there really isn't just that's not what it is all about. And then like, you know, Steve and like Wonder Woman, they just take down that plane, they destroy the base, they kill the mission, and I think that would have like actually been a really good ending. But no, that's not what's supposed to happen. There's got to be a big dumb stupid fight, and with Ares now played by a I forgot like what he was, but like, you know, I guess him being like a government guy trying to dispute war. Maybe that's supposed to be something interesting, like it's Ares, like he's just been viewing the war. But no, it's stupid. This movie, like the movie had a chance to be really good, but it also like it faces like a lot of issues. I think it's like too long also, or maybe just like the pacing of it. Like sometimes it really does like feel like it doesn't really get to the action quick, or maybe like I don't know. Like I think this movie really should have been worked on a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, it's good that we got like a good Wonder Woman movie, and I enjoyed it at times, but I don't really want to rewatch it that much. And then it was nice to see the UK Pam in a film from The Office. So coming in at number 11 is Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. God, I hate that they put a subtitle in the underneath it all. The Ultimate Edition, because I used to really not like this movie, but when you watch like the Ultimate Edition and how it really fixes things and explains things a lot better than this movie. But there is still some stupid stuff. I think overall it's not a good choice to just like they really should have just made a Batman vs Superman movie, but Snyder went all out, and I think the studio also like was like telling him like you have to like make this movie to set up to the Justice League, when really this should have just been Batman vs Superman, and it would have been cool. Just do that instead. Why were you trying to like go all out? But I think there are like I like, again, I think the Ultimate Edition, it clears some stuff up. Still, it's got problems. Still has Jesse Eisenberg, a terrible Lex Luthor. Let's hope Nicholas Hoult with Superman Legacy will bring like the best Luthor performance on film since Kevin Spacey and Superman Returns. I'm hoping Hoult does a good job. Jesse Eisenberg, with like this enthusiasm, they should have just made him the Joker, not like Zuckerlex. Stupid. Everyone said everything about him, so I'm not gonna. I gotta like get off that subject. But when you get to the fight, though, it is fun. Like the last 30 minutes are like all right in both cuts, just because of the action, and then you're like, okay, this is like kind of fun, kind of tolerable. But still, this is not really what I wanted from a Batman vs Superman movie. And there was like a script like years ago that was like a lot darker than this, and I personally, from what I've heard, I think that was like a better script, even if it had like weird Joker clones in it. But that would have been a lot better than this.